if they were like, hey, I would like to make six figures in 2025 as a Hispanic agent, what would you say? What would we train them on? How would we help them go make six figures this year?
Well, the first thing that we do around here is we set up a business plan, because
Okay.
without planning, I mean, it's like pie in the sky.
That's
There
good.
has to be a plan. There has to be a goal. Now, whether the person wants a goal, a year goal, like you're talking about, but if it is a year goal, it's like, okay, there's 12 months in a year. So a month from now, we should be here.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins, and today we have a couple of special guests, man. I'm excited because I believe there's so much opportunity in the Hispanic market. I honestly believe the Hispanic market is neglected in our industry for the most part, but not by this group. Okay, let me give you a little feedback and intel before I jump in and dive in and introduce them. Their managing director, who is not on screen today, is Ana. She speaks fluent Spanish. Also, they do a lot of webinars, different stuff. They focus on Medicare life and annuities, specifically in the Hispanic market. Their web address is insurancegls.com. Company is Grupo Latino Americano. And I am sitting here today, and they're out of Clearwater, Florida, with Lynn Bianchi and Mal. How are y'all?
Oh, great.
Thank you. Great.
Good, man. Good. Appreciate you both being here. Here's one of the questions I want to start with. What is for those that maybe, I think it's like there's a lot of agents that are Hispanic, they speak Spanish, but they're having to like force themselves to speak to only English, and they're struggling to get in front of the Hispanic population when really it would be easier to connect, and there's a massive opportunity there. What's y'all's thoughts? Let's start with Lynn Bianchi first.
I believe the agents or anybody can assist better their clients if they're talking in their language. If they know their culture. Because even though we speak the same Spanish in different regions, like we have different cultures, and that influences in the process of offering them a product that is important for them. And also it helps the agents understand the need of the clients. It's not the same depending on their nationality.
Yeah. Is it a different like dialect, you could say, in like different countries? It kind of like changes a little bit. I'll give you an example. I was speaking to a group in Orlando several years ago, and I was training in front of the room, and I was, I don't know, after the event, we were trying to leave, and I was like, "Andale," like, you know, and they're like, "We're not Mexican. We don't say andale," you know? So I'm like, right? So maybe I was like, oh, maybe there is. It's cool.
Yeah. When we check, for example, statistics, Latin American market are very strong on families. So it's when you're talking to them about insurance, it helps more when you talk to them about how they can protect their families or how they can protect their health for the well of their families. So it all depends on the culture, and that will lead the agent to offer a product that is more aligned with the need of the client.
Yeah. Mal, what's your thoughts on that specifically?
I think she hit the nail on the head as far as family, getting in front of a family or Hispanic person, because in our culture, obviously, yes, in many cultures, family, but we have been basically raised to send money back home. And if something, God forbid, something happens and you're not able to, well, there's a life insurance policy that can protect. You can still send money back to, grandma, grandpa. So that is very key for a Hispanic person when you start talking about those things as to the need for life insurance. And as far as getting in front of people, there has to be a greater influence or mindset for Hispanic agents to use social media, and I know there's a lot of people on Facebook, but there's Reels on Instagram, there's YouTube, to be able to expand out instead of just either I'm going to buy a lead, or
Sure.
B, I'm going to stand in front of a group of people. Um, there has to be more of a focus to reach more families to use that social media platform.
Mhm.
Yep. What's your what yeah, well, like, what are you or what are you referring to? Or, like, what are other ways to prospect and get in front of people? If you're if you're an agent, you speak Spanish, but you're struggling to get in front of people every single week. What are some of the things that agents are doing within your group, within Grupo, that is working, that they could learn from?
Well, we had a case, Hannah had brought it up, where there was a lady, she simply went to the library. And I believe every Monday she goes, she had got permission every Monday to do a seminar on, whether it was Medicare
Mm,
or anything, but it was posted, and she simply uses the library, and I'm pretty sure libraries are free. Um, so that's
yeah.
one thing that agents are doing. Also, community events, Hispanic community events,
Mm,
because Hispanic people see you're out there, and it's not just, hey, I'm here to sell you something. No, I'm here to as we say, mete la mano, like get our hands dirty, to get in the trenches with you, because we are with you. And so they respect that and they see that. So those are some things that agents are doing that are helping their book of business, because that spreads faster than, hey, I met an agent and he or she wants to give me something. Like, no, this person helps. This person cares. And
yeah,
so when they see that you care, that goes a long way in any culture.
true.
May I say something about that? And
Please.
everything is about connections.
Mm,
When you connect with them, it's easier um, to provide the assistance and to help them believe you when you're saying this is the right thing for you, this is the right product for you. And I wouldn't only this information, it's not only for Spanish speaking agents.
yeah.
Agents that speak English that would like to get into the Spanish market and probably think that there's not a chance to offer them products. Well, Mal said something very important. We are big on sending money to family. If you check on the statistics, like the countries that send more money to their families, um, if they send money, they can get a life insurance, a health insurance, or insurance for any critical illness. They can do that. They have the money for that.
Yes. Also, to that point, um, if you had an agent that was like, okay, I am new, or I'm struggling, or I was doing well, but I'm not doing so great today, and I would really like to go make six figures next 12 months, right? As of time of recording this, we're it's January 21st of 2025. It'll release here in a few days. If they were like, hey, I would like to make six figures in 2025 as a Hispanic agent, what would you say? What would we train them on? How would we help them go make six figures this year?
Well, the first thing that we do around here is we set up a business plan,
Mhm.
because
Okay,
without planning, I mean, it's like pie in the sky.
that's
There
good.
has to be a plan. There has to be a goal. Now, whether the person wants a goal, a year goal, like you're talking about, but if it is a year goal, it's like, okay, there's 12 months in a year. So a month from now, we should be here.
Mm,
And before we get to that month, the first week and the second week and the third week, up to that fourth week, has to have a goal as well. So there has to be some specific planning. Now, if they're really serious about six figures, depending on what they know or don't know, there would have to be a serious education sit down. If you want to focus on Medicare, um, it's going to be an uphill battle. Now, if you want to do annuities and you want to spread yourself, okay, but you're going to have to do some homework. You're going to have to do some studying. We are going to have to do some practicing, so
mm,
you know what you're talking about, because you're going to get questions, and of course that brings anxiety if you don't know the answer, or
sure.
you know how that works.
Yeah.
So the confidence, the planning, and then getting them the confidence has to be paramount. Then, okay, we can go and we can do uh, social media planning. Do you want to plan on uh, an annuity event, virtual annuity event? Do you want to let's say, knock on library doors and say, hey, I'm this, I'm that. I want to do this, I want to do that. Uh, are you willing to invest the time? Are you willing to invest the money? So those are the things that we purpose first to do because, as there are many people coming to the industry, think great numbers, are told great numbers, and
Yeah.
then they burn out, or a year later, or 3 years later, they're gone. So
True.
those are certain things that we put in place first, uh, because we've seen it from our end 1,000,001 times. And like you said, they may start off great, or they may have a good run, but we know there's going to be a season where it's not going to be so great. And then, are you willing to stick through it?
True.
So those things we do first.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's the
important to know where are we, and I'm sorry I interrupted you. Where
no,
are
you're
we
good.
starting? They want to get to six figures, but where are we right now? What is the product that you're offering? Most of the agents don't take into consideration that the product they're offering, having clients with that product, those are leads for them to offer other products, to cross selling.
Hmm.
So it's like, where are we starting now? What do you have, like, from a micro or micro? Sorry, my
Micro.
Micro.
Spanish
Yeah.
mixing. Micro perspective.
That's good.
I don't want to make up words. From a micro perspective, who do you have immediately around you? Your
Mm.
community, your clients, your husband or wife. Like, your family should be part of your business to help you grow and to help you get into those six figures. After a business plan, then you start with the training. If you don't know about the products you're offering, it's going to be harder for people to believe you or to feel that need to have that product. So we do all the trainings through Grupo University, like the
Mm.
basic trainings of the concepts of each product, but also the information of each company and their portal and how to submit policies. Like, we take them through that process.
The other thing too is they should know, or we will tell them, besides trying to get a person for a policy, you do need to let others know, attorneys, accountants, other people in various industries that touch yours, that of what you're doing, because you're going to need them just as they're going to need you for referrals. So it's just not just, I have my nose focused on, a client and one policy at a time. It's like, no, I can let others know because their referrals are key.
Yeah. Y'all mentioned too, you mentioned a couple times, you mentioned webinars earlier, and then you just mentioned virtual events a second ago. Um, I'm fascinated by that because we do a lot of those things. Also, Lynn Bianchi was mentioning, she didn't want to say the wrong words. I'm originally from Arkansas. I say the wrong words all the freaking time. I have terrible English. I need to learn Spanish, and maybe I can do better there. Um, what are some of the things you're doing that are working on the virtual event and webinar side? When you share some of that, agents may not even know what that, I mean, they kind of understand what a webinar is, but they don't really understand how to incorporate some of those things into getting in front of prospects or agents. What are some of the things that are working for y'all in that realm?
So if the agent has a book of business, let's say it's all Medicare,
Mm,
they can do an e-blast and let all their book of business know, uh, I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to do a final expense event. I'm going to do a term life event, because there's other ways to protect your family. There's other ways to protect your health. There's other ways to do this. There's other ways to do that that they might not be aware of. From going back to some of the statistics, the Hispanic population, like you said, is underserved. So they really don't know as much as, let's say, someone else. So the education is key. So if agents say, hey, I'm going to do an annuity webinar. Well, what's an annuity? And I'm going to do an IUL webinar. Well, what's that? It's something that's going to help them, educate them, So they are not sitting there wondering, well, how come no one told me this? Or I never knew about this.
Mm,
The webinars are great for the agents because the agents are always learning something that potentially they didn't know before about a certain product. Because as you know, products are always coming or being tweaked. Um,
yeah.
so everyone should know about it and no one should be left out. So the webinars are a great tool that we use, very successful. We've been doing them for years now.
It's cool.
I believe we kind of started when Anna got here,
Mhm.
uh, but every almost, if not weekly, pretty much every week we're doing one. To be honest with you,
It's awesome.
And
Well, go ahead.
And it's not only about the product; it's also like helping with their abilities to generate their own leads, to overcome
Mm,
objections, to also how to offer Medicare Advantage plans due to the regulations that those products have. Like we help them not only knowing about the carrier or knowing about the product, but things that in their everyday life could happen to them with the clients. We help them learn how to develop their skills on that.
it's cool. It's phenomenal. Last question. How did you both end up in insurance? I would love to know from each of you.
ladies first.
Okay, mine was funny. So all my experience is on airlines
Hmm,
and in the hospitality industry, helping with projects.
yeah,
So I came here, and that's what I wanted to do. And COVID hit, and what happened? Like all the airports and all the hotels were closed.
true.
So, which industries survived during
Mm,
COVID? Health industries and food. So, food was not an option for me. I start with health, and I like it. I like the possibility of helping somebody who has a little perspective about a business
mm.
to help open up a lot of windows and doors of possibilities of what they can offer to their clients and help their communities with. So that's how I started.
I love it. Thank you, Miyake. I appreciate that. What about you, Mel?
Well, I started because I had left one industry and I had taken some time off, about 2 years. And after 2 years, I realized it was time to go back to work. The other industry was very stressful. Um, and it was suggested by another coworker here that, hey, why don't you come over to interview over here? And I looked at him. I said, not for nothing. I can spell the word insurance, but I don't know anything else. And he said, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. They'll teach you everything.
Mm,
That was 7.5 years ago. I
wow.
interviewed. Obviously, 7.5 years later, here I am. And um, there's not the stress that some other industries provide or give or you're under. Everything in insurance is what I make of it.
It's
And
great.
it's the same thing for the agent. It's what you make of it, what you do with it, what you do with the knowledge, the execution of that knowledge. And, you know, Grupo has helped me a million and 1%, and we help agents 1,000,001%. So the sky's the limit.
I love it. Phenomenal. And if they want to learn more, reach out, speak to you guys. What should they do, or where should they go?
We're everywhere.
I love it. I love
If they
that.
look at social media, we're in social media. Our website is insurancegls.com. You can find more information there. And also, if you search in LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, you're going to find us. We're everywhere.
Amazing. Well, thank you both for being on the podcast. I really appreciate you guys. A phenomenal job. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Yes. Also, thank you guys for hanging and listening to our Limbiaki and Mal from Grupo Latino Americano. We appreciate you listening to the podcast. Here's what I'd love for you to do. I would like for you to highlight one specific piece that you enjoyed from these two, share it in comments below. And as always, we will see you on the next episode. Adios.